One of the things I wanted to broach with you is sort of building out your team and your agency. It looks like you're at just under a dozen employees working with you. What sort of do you look for when trying to hiring a person, both in terms of like skill sets and attitudes, and what sort of do you push as far away from your company as possible? And how do you decide who you work with?
Great question. It took a while to kind of learn and had, high turnover and all of that. But now try and put up a big wall around and make it as hard as possible to come in and trying to create a really good core team and have big goals. So right now it's a lot of, are you selfless and do you have critical thinking? So part of our process is we're going to offer a project that selfishly is going to help us out, and we're not going to, pay you for it. Like, are you going to be willing to do that? If you're not, chances are you're not as selfless as we want. People have their thoughts on whether that's right or wrong. That's great, but we have found the ones that are willing to do it and get it done quickly, which we allow them to set the deadline of whenever they can do it. So it allows us to see that. And then really, I like personally seeing that there's a sports background. I played sports, and there tends to be a trend that we're seeing, and I don't know. I really think the team is like a locker room, and you're only as strong as your locker room. And I've seen really talented teams do really bad in seasons. I've seen really not great teams do really good, and really the only difference is how they got along behind the scenes on the court and all of that. So don't really look to see if you get it, because the education can be taught, but are you a team player? Do you give in? Are you going to, check out right at 8 hours? Or are you going to maybe give a couple extra, knowing that, it'll come back and all of that? So try to be as strategic as possible.
Yeah, that's awesome. And on a similar line, when it comes to the clients you work with and the people who are actually paying you, what do you look for there? What sort of is the perfect client to you? And then what client isn't worth the money, right?
Yep. And this was the biggest learning of the last year is I think we can change the world for everyone, which is great, but there are limitations, and that's what we've how can we audit or look to see if it's a good fit for the most part. And so really, I mean, for the e-commerce side, it's, do you have email marketing going? What do your flows look like? Abandoned cart? What is your post-purchase, your last customer? What is your conversion rate? Do you know what your AOV is, your LTV? So it's almost like we give like a test and like, can you even fill this out? Do you even know your own business to, not say work with us, but, we can't talk about your business if you don't even know your own business. So it makes it tough. So once we pass that, we get into Google Analytics and look at the setup and really sniff around. And it's not so much to say, you don't have these, we're not going to work with you, but we call out, we know you need content on an ongoing basis. We know you need email. We know you need these things. Are you doing them? And if you're not, do you have something in plan, or are you open to getting something going? And as long as all of them are yes, then we know it'll be a good fit. But it's hard to get to where you're a little bit more picky and selfish. Kind of have to earn the right to do that. But I mean, it creates a lot more efficiencies, a lot less headache, and well worth it once you start doing it.
Gotcha. So I kind of want to go back here a little bit, back in time to the early stages of your agency and sort of understand where you kind of got this call to action from, because I know you worked in marketing for a long time, and how did you validate that idea, and did you create an MVP, and if so, what did that look like?
Yeah, so the call to action for the Click and Mortar or the agency in general?
The agency in general, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's changed a lot from do you need marketing help, reach out, and kind of, again, taking anyone and everything to, really focused on what industry, what size of business we work with. So the call to action has really changed based off of who we're working with and what we're doing. And a lot of that has been learning in real time, getting black eyes, learning what we want to do, not want to do, and kind of pivot. So it's kind of changed over the years, and it'll always be evolving because we're always tinkering and thinking of, you know, our audiences, who we want to go after, who we want to work with, and what action we want them to take.
Yeah, and so if, let's say I have a Shopify store and I'm doing Google Ads and doing basic email, but I only have 2 minutes of your time, what's the one tip you would give me to help me boost what I'm doing? Like, is there some common mistake that needs to be avoided? Is there something that is new and a lot of people don't know about? Something like that. Just a quick tip for a Shopify store user.
Yep, I would say you really think of what the offer or lead magnet is, and most people quickly go to like 15% off, basically a pop-up. Use ads to try and get more people on that pop-up so that you're getting emails, phone numbers, and contacts, and really think through your email game rather than look at getting 3x, 4x ROAS on your ads, which everyone does. Because ads are used to acquire customers, and more times than not, you're either breaking even or losing money on acquisition. So stop looking at 3x ROAS for ads and get people into your database and really nurture them. Like, what is the first thing you're saying? What are you saying 2 days after that? So you can reshift your focus on what outcome you're looking for in ads, and that's the opt-ins. And then with the email, build out that nurture and get into where you're sending 1 to 2 emails a week. Your overall all sales and conversion rate should be much better.